So hello everyone, today we are going to talk about the functions of plasma protein and the role they play in our body, which is very important. This is part of a biochemistry tutorial. So let's get started. Functions of plasma protein, the main role which the overall role played by the plasma proteins include transport, which is by albumin, pre-albumin and globulins. They transport different things. They transport copper, iron, hemoglobin and different substances. They also maintain the plasma oncotic pressure. We will talk about what is oncotic pressure because it's very important, and it is mainly maintained by the albumin. Then we have defense. Defense, obviously the antibodies and complement, they are also involved in the included in the plasma proteins. And the last one, clotting and fibrinolysis, which is performed by thrombin and plasmin. So, what is oncotic pressure? Oncotic pressure is basically a type of Stirling's pressure. See, we have two types of pressure. One is hydrostatic pressure and the other one is oncotic pressure. These pressures basically are maintained between the capillaries, the blood vessels, and the interstitial spaces. The hydrostatic pressure pushes the water into the spaces, like out of the capillaries, and oncotic pressure basically it pulls the water inward. So if there is low oncotic pressure, which means more fluid will be accumulated in the interstitial spaces, leading to edema. So low oncotic pressure is generally associated with edema, which can also be related with low levels of albumin in blood, which is hypoalbuminemia. Okay, so moving on to the next slide, we have the general functions of plasma protein, which is blood clotting, enzymes, hormones, immune defense, inflammatory responses, oncofetal, and transport. Measurement of plasma proteins. If we are supposed to measure the concentration of plasma protein, it can be done. By either the quantitative, semi-quantitative measurement. Quantitative measurement include chemical or immunological reaction of a specific protein, but in the semi-quantitative measurement, we use the method of electrophoresis. Electrophoresis basically is the separation of the charged proteins molecules on a gel medium. Proteins are separated according to their charges and sizes in different bands. 5 separate bands of proteins are observed, and these bands will change in different diseases. There are different types of plasma proteins. Generally हम classify करते हैं into 4 groups: alpha 1 globulins, alpha 2 globulins, beta globulins, and the gamma globulins, and the examples are given below. Albumin, pre-albumin, then we have alpha globulins, which involve all these uh, examples. Then we have albumin. Albumin is like one of the most abundant plasma protein in the normal adult, about 40 gram per liter. Synthesized, it is synthesized in liver exclusively. Okay, albumin is basically most of the albumin is synthesized in the liver as pre-proalbumin, and then it is secreted later on into its mature form. The half-life in plasma is 20 days, and the levels of albumin obviously will decrease in injury, infection, and surgery. In infection and surgery, and in surgery, obviously there will be fluid loss, there will be blood loss, due to which there will be a decrease in the concentration of albumin. Function of albumin involves that it maintains the oncotic pressure. The osmotic pressure exerted by plasma protein, which pulls water into the circulatory system, is known as the oncotic pressure, and this is how it maintains the fluid distribution in and outside the cells and the plasma volume. 80% of the plasma oncotic pressure is maintained by albumin. Functions: non-specific carrier of hormones, calcium. Yes, these are basically the functions of albumin which are supposed to be carried on. Albumin also acts as a transport system for hormones, calcium, free fatty acids, and drugs. And tissue cells also take up albumin by pinocytosis, and then it is hydrolyzed to amino acids. So it has a nutritive role too, like it acts as a nutrition, and it is also useful in diseases like liver cirrhosis, hemorrhage, shock, and burns. This is all about hypoalbuminemia. Hypoalbuminemia is a condition when there is decreased albumin synthesis or decreased levels of albumin in the blood. Like it can be due to the synthesis problem, or it can be increased loss of albumin, which basically occurs in infections and bleeding, in burns. Like there will be increased catabolism in the infections, excessive excretion by the kidneys in the nephrotic syndrome. In bleeding, there will be excessive loss of the blood, and in severe burns, there will be plasma loss, obviously due to the absence of the skin barrier. Okay, so what are the effects of the hypoalbuminemia? Effects of hypoalbuminemia involve obviously edema. One of the most important uh, disorder, edema. It is due to low oncotic pressure, fluid accumulation in the interstitial spaces, reduced transport of drugs and other substances in plasma, reduced protein-bound calcium, total plasma calcium level drop, and ionized calcium level will increase. Hyperalbuminemia is never seen. No clinical conditions are seen. Only cause can be due to dehydration, but it is never seen in clinicals. One of the most important, then we will talk about alpha 1 antitrypsin. This is also a very important plasma protein, but we will talk about this in the next lecture.